I'ma ride with Massie over Trump any fucking day of the week. What's up, Solutionary's Maj 2 right here. We seeing Trump trying to talk about he wants to fucking primary Thomas Massie again. If you're not aware of who Thomas Massie is, solid statesman, representing the great state of Kentucky over in D.C., saying no to a lot of bad shit. 1,000%. No. Now, some people will say, oh, that makes him a grandstander. That makes him a grandstander. They're using that word because years ago, when the lone man in D.C. knew that they were trying to sneakily going to vote on the biggest wealth transfer in American history during the whole COVID shit, remember that in 2020? And they wanted all of the politicians to just do a secret, unrecorded vote. Y'all remember that? And Thomas Massie said, no, I'm driving from Kentucky, I'm going to D.C., and I'm going to record my vote. And then the next day, Trump gets on television and is like, we may have one grandstander. We may have one grandstander, right? He was talking about Thomas Massie. Because politicians are actually supposed to do with their constituents, send them to D.C. or whatever level of office they're in. They're supposed to do what the constituents tell them to do. The constituents of Kentucky, his constituents, said, we want you there to say no to a bunch of bullshit. We want you to limit government spending. We want you to, actually be a fucking limited government public servant. That's what we want you to go to D.C. to do, Mr. Massie. And for as long as he's been there, his track record has been that. So these people are hearing the word grandstander because Trump said it. And now because he said it, then they want to repeat it because they're bots. They're NPCs just like people on the left. But let's look at what actually he's presented legislation-wise and what he's been in opposition to. In opposition to big-ass omnibus spending bills with 1,000 pages. In opposition to adding more to the fucking deficit after they campaigned, meaning the Republicans, campaigned against, oh, the Joe and those guys are spending too much money. Him saying, no, I'm not going to keep kicking the can down the road. Then saying, okay, I'll be the lone guy that says no. Y'all going to call me names, but I bet you in a couple of months when we're supposed to balance this budget, they kick the can again. This has happened several times. Or we got to do it after the presidency, the campaign, the election, so we don't split the diff. Oh, cool, now he's in. Or we got to do it after the inauguration. Oh, now let's do all the way back to fucking the fall. This is what he said the entire time. So meanwhile, this entire time, Trump campaigned on the argument of no new wars in the Middle East. We see how the fuck that's working out. Trump campaigned on we got to cut this, we got to cut that, we got ain't no income tax. Maybe we get rid of income tax completely. None of that shit is done. None of it's done. So ironically, Trump, being a grandstander, that's his whole brand, built on grandstanding, is calling Thomas Massie a grandstander for doing the one thing that a public servant that's sent to D.C. is supposed to do, limit the government. But then Massie turns around and says, hey, I'm going to present legislation that says maybe we should not do this. Maybe we should get rid of gun-free zones. Maybe we should da-da-da-da-da. Actual legislation. So instead of people saying, Thomas Massie's the grandstander, maybe for one quick moment you go, they're sent to D.C. to limit government. He's presenting bills that repeal overreaching government. He's a Second Amendment supporter that's talking specifically about the overreaching and overspending that government does. Is that actually grandstanding? Or are you caught in a fucking cult of personality and now this person is damn near walking us potentially into a war? I hope not. But you're not being objective. You're not stepping back and going, wait a minute, this ain't what he campaigned on. Wait a minute, what's the job of somebody that goes to D.C.? They do not work for the fucking president. They work for their constituents, the American people, limiting government, limiting spending. This administration is spending pre-Biden levels, even more. What is grandstanding? When a nation is $37 trillion in debt, and there's a 250th anniversary of the Army. But if you're $37 trillion in debt, maybe you should send that money that you would have spent for this big ass parade, give it to the actual armed servicemen and women. Maybe. Maybe we don't start a whole nother war. And I get it. Some of y'all gonna say, well, it's not really a war because Congress didn't vote on it. Right, because he used the War Powers Resolution. 100%. And I get it. It's just a strike. It's just that shit is unnecessary. Your entire campaign was no new wars. There's too much video of you saying it's stupid to go to war with Iran. Too much video. And if you're not telling the American public why your actual position changed, you just look like a fucking flip-flopper. Meanwhile, for 10 years, a decade, Massie has been consistent. Massie is an actual engineer. Literally a smart dude, okay? Proud to call him the homie. Literally a smart dude that's doing the job that he's been sent to DC to do, and some of y'all are actually jumping out here saying, he's a grandstander, he gets nothing done. Newsflash, most politicians are not supposed to do more stuff. They're supposed to check government. If government and the government lackeys are doing more and more and more, that's why you paying so much in tax. That's why you got more licenses you got to get to go fish. All of that shit that the government says is for your protection, the public servant is supposed to go there to say, no, let the people do what they're doing. Limit government. So that means that person is supposed to say no more than yes, especially if a bill has a bajillion things in it. They give it a cute ass name. It's over 1,000 pages and they only give you 2 hours to read it. You're supposed to say no. All of y'all motherfuckers hear all of these successful, wealthy people, and all day you hear them say, you should say no more than you say yes. You should be patient with your investments. You might study for 6 months and then make one decision, financial investment that takes care of you for 3 years. But you got to say no to all of the things in between, little things. Y'all understand that on that concept. But when it comes to this, because Daddy Trump said this shit, and again, I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for this bullshit. I voted for secure borders. I voted for a limited government. I voted for no new wars. All of this other shit y'all talking about, our alliance with Israel, y'all keep moving the fucking goalposts. First it was we not involved. We not gonna be there. It's not gonna be boots on the ground. It's just a strike. It's just that. It's just that. Oh, it's not about regime change. He literally posting, what if it was a regime change? All of this other shit is not what we fucking voted for. It's not. And at a certain point, the one person that's saying no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, he's trying to primary. Think about that. He's in support of Lindsey Graham. He's a great guy. But somehow Thomas Massie, the lone principled, not lone, but one of the very few principled politicians in DC, you want to primary him. How'd that work out for you the last 2 times you tried to primary him? His opponents in Kentucky have only gotten at most 25% of the vote. The people of Kentucky have made their decision. Unless you got an even better politician than him that you're talking about sending to represent us, no thank you. And every single time he talks this primary shit, every single time, Thomas Massie fundraises more and better. And that's supposed to be that way because we see the difference. We see the difference. Some of y'all are ignorant though. And your level of ignorance is showcasing itself. Every time this conversation comes up, you just, and I hate sounding like a fucking leftist because leftists say this shit. You're in a cult. And that's the part. They try to make you so afraid to look like you can agree with other Americans that might identify as Democrat that if the Democrats say something right, you then don't want to go, oh, I don't want to look like I'm with the Democrats. They're Americans. Even a fucking broke clock is right twice a day. So you are so afraid to look like you actually are with the Democrats, and then they hide it. Oh, he's voted with the Democrats. He's voted with the squad. He's voted with the squad because they gladly are in opposition to stupid shit that Trump says. They're in opposition to good shit that Trump says. So when Trump says or presents stupid shit, and the Democrats by default go, no. And he goes, no, that's stupid. Oh, you're voting with the Democrats. This is the reason why the framers of America didn't want party systems like this. They're taking advantage of your ignorance. They're taking advantage of your obvious attraction to Trump over Kamala Harris. They're taking advantage of the job that you actually voted for. They're taking advantage of your fucking vote. And if you are really patriotic, you're supposed to say something in opposition to this bullshit. You're supposed to go, no, thank you. None of you that voted for Trump voted for an Iran war. None of you. Just say it. Saying it does not make you anti-MAGA. MAGA is a conversation that happened. That's a Ronald Reagan campaign slogan. He didn't create that. MAGA belongs to the American people. We need to make America great again, regardless of if somebody uses the slogan and starts doing shit that's not actually gonna be MAGA. It's not gonna make America great again. We get to say, no, thank you. We get to say, you're about to potentially put boots on the ground of soldiers in an Iran war that we do not fucking need? What happened to border security? What happened to limited government? What happened to the Epstein client list? What happened? Oh, you're so focused on yelling at fucking Thomas Massie. That's just saying, no, I disagree with this. That's doing the job. They're taking advantage of you. And the reason why they can take advantage of you so much is because they know that you're not hip to civics. That's why we made the civics class. Curriculum comes right to your fucking inbox. Videos taken at your pace. If you take the class by itself, it's only $20, okay? Or you can join the Solutionary 9 and get access to all of these classes. Because if we go on a fucking war, you need to know how to arm yourself and defend your home. That's our Understanding Imminent Threat course. You need to know how to handle firearms. That's our Firearms Basics course. And obviously our Civics course, if you join the Solutionary 9, you get access to all of that. Meal plans, macros, workout routines, shooting drills, and a host of other things. Private community of people like mine helping each other. If we are going to war, you're going to need fucking community. I don't care how many guns you got. And this is why we made the Solutionary 9. But more specifically, they're going to take advantage of you if you don't understand civics. And they know you don't. They took it out of the schools. They first called it civics, then they took it out, made it social studies. Social studies ain't even there no more. Don't let them keep taking advantage of your patriotism. Break free from that thought process that you got to do everything that Trump says because he says it. They will install a regime in a whole nother country. Why do you think they won't co-opt a movement and compromise a leader? Because it's starting to look like that's what it is. But I don't know, Maj, you really hate Trump because you're a libertarian, Maj, da-da-da-da. Whatever you want to say, put it in the comment section. You make a good point, I'm going to agree with you. You get something wrong, I'm going to disagree with you. Also, hit the link. Join the Solutionary 9. All of this understanding, and even if you agree with me, means nothing if you can't utilize the information to make your life, your family, your community better. My name is Maj Toure, the founder of Solutionary University. Hope to see you in the group soon. Be safe, be solutionary.